These bridges will no longer be just technological feats. They will form links between men. For years, I've followed in the footsteps of designers and builders, revealing the secrets behind the construction of a system that aims to change Nairobi's landscape and transportation, and discovering the challenges faced by engineers along the highway. These builders are turning designs into structures. It all starts with digging holes. Before building of such structures can go on, it has to go down. Creating a solid foundation is essential. BRT stations will be supported on rectangular concrete blocks several feet below the surface. They are to support the structure of steel columns and the weight of people. All this depends on how builders dig the holes. They are rectangular pits upon which stations will sit. To get the digging done, the excavation subcontractor uses specialized tools. Even at the excavation stage, this construction project requires a lot of planning and coordination. That is where the general contractor comes in. There are several subcontractors which are actually doing the construction. The general contractor oversees what they do. The project has a schedule, hundreds to thousands of activities. Each of these events have to happen in a particular order within the context of the construction of the job. The general contractor, China Stakeholder Corporation, has a lot at stake. He promised the government of Kenya a specific timeline to have the job done, and for $93.6 million. The first schedule of using the BRT system is fast approaching. And that is pressure. Every day counts. Whatever it takes, they have to be on schedule. After the excavation company is done with the job, the concrete subcontractor comes in next. Lots of concrete is needed for the foundation and the floors. Like for many other constructions, the magic concoction of sand, gravel, water and cement is applied. To make concrete stronger, these builders have embedded steel reinforcement bars into it. Concrete performs well under compression, but not as well under tension. Steel, on the other hand, performs well under tension. So mixing the two will enable the structure to resist both compression and tension loads. These builders are using reinforced concrete to make the station's foundations and floors. They are making it look easy. After the foundation work, it's time to bring in the real men of steel. It's hard work and sometimes dangerous, but if they didn't like it, they won't be doing it so passionately. They have families and people to care for too. Their bread is buttered here. It's time to erect the steel skeleton. It is what will ensure the stability of the BRT station. Prefabricated sections are moved to the construction site and then installed. They are guided to their correct positions through jacking. The first steel frame to fall into place is always the column. Several pieces are erected. In no time, steels are piled. They are creating a strong structure to withstand forces of nature for decades to come. These builders are grouped into 4 separate gangs. The first being the raising gang. They are responsible for erecting all the structural steel. Then there is the bolt-up gang, which is responsible for bolting it all. Then the plumb team comes in to plumb it. The final team is the welding team. They come in after all the bolting is done. Then it's time to connect the steel together. Every steel you see here is being stitched together by these individuals. They have to be meticulous. Mistakes are not tolerated at this stage. This is the easiest part of the job. You have to hook up the beam so that it can be lifted up to the deck. That is where real work is done. It's a job that relies on coordination and trust. Each man on the raising gang has its own job to do. But the teamwork has to be so good with steel flying around. They call this shaking out iron. placing it where it will be connected later. After the beam is hooked, the crane man 5 feet below is given a signal. He has to move the steel around as pretty as it pleases. It's like landing a plane in a heavy fog. These beams are very heavy. Any slight mistake could be catastrophic. It's all good teamwork. All day long, the connectors have been on the edge. They are risking limbs to create Kenya's first rapid transit system, a system that seeks to unlock Kenya's capital, Nairobi, a city dogged by traffic snarl-ups. Traffic has remained to be the people's nightmare. I remember when Thika Highway was commissioned by retired President Mwai Kibaki in November 2012, there was a lot of expectation. Those who used the busy artery thought it was the end of their struggles with traffic snarl-ups. But with a good road, the migration of city dwellers to estates along Thika Road increased. New estates actually came up. Many people bought cars, and boom, the number of cars on the road increased significantly. The traffic snarl-ups became even worse on the road. When I talked to the chairman of Matatu Owners Association, Simon Kimtai, in 2019, he told me that the situation was worrisome.
In the next 5 years, if we are to continue this way, we will be having no movement at all.
It then hit the government that to cure the traffic nightmare, good roads can only be part of a system that enables people to move in masses, but also in a timely and efficient manner, a system that will be safe for road users.
That's the way to go. People should leave their vehicles at home in future, decongest the system of Nairobi. We shall have specific buses for children so that people do not have to crisscross the city from one side to the other, taking their kids to school. That way you see a lot of development in terms of easing the movement of people.
This system is called the Bus Rapid Transit System, or simply the BRT.
Yeah, what is important, very important, is the predictability of the journey. And that's one thing, one challenge we have in this country for people who are using the different motorized means of transport, is you cannot predict what time you'll arrive somewhere. You know, because on one day it rains, the next day there is a small accident, or the next day there is some political event. So that predictability of the journey is extremely important.
It involves high-capacity buses running in exclusive lanes and in a timely manner. To achieve this, appropriate supporting infrastructure had to be put in place. We are talking about BRT median stations, BRT termini, park and ride stations, and of course, a dedicated lane.
Now, they're not going to be excluded by just painting a line, but by actual barriers will be constructed to ensure that this area is exclusively for public transport vehicles.
Placing the beam is not easy. These workers are on the edge of the deck with a sheer drop on two sides. But it's one of the last things they have to do before they start connecting. When they get the beam lined up, then they have to bolt it up. with bolting up done. Time to weld. The job here is to ensure the design of the station is as it was envisaged by the designers. Once the steel frame of the BRT station at Safari Park Hotel is done, the engineer has a job of linking the station and the existing footbridge. It's how people will be coming into the station located in the middle of the road. The process of building the steel frame is as involving as that of constructing the platform area. First, prefabricated steel frames are installed. It's done piece by piece and step by step. That is until staircases take shape. They are then connected by nuts and bolts. Before they are welded. The steel frame only works well under tension loading, but not under compression loading. And so to ensure maximum stability for the staircases, a combination of steel and concrete is applied. Like many cities in the world, Nairobi is searching for sustainable ways to transport residents quickly, efficiently, and safely throughout the streets. The current matatu system offers none of the above. It's simply unreliable.
The fact that people can attend meetings on time, people can be home on time, they can get enough rest even when they get home and be productive the following day. All these small things, lead to people living better and more healthy lives. The fact that we can actually have fewer vehicles clogging the roads and have less vehicular emissions polluting the air. Small things that at times we tend to ignore, but have an impact on our health, on our day-to-day lives, on our stress levels, on our mental and physical health concerns, and our day-to-day productivity.
Once bus stations are done, a barrier will be built to dedicate the innermost lane for BRT buses. The lane will separate the high-capacity buses from mixed traffic, allowing them to travel more quickly through the city. Passenger boarding will be faster. To ensure this, builders are constructing a floor that ensure earth-level boarding. The platform floor is being raised so that it can be at the same level with the buses. Fare collection will be done off-board. Contactless smart cards will be used for fare payment. Fare gates will be installed at the stations, which will be equipped with Wi-Fi. At junctions, traffic signals will be designed to give priority to BRT. But building stations along Thika Highway have had several challenges. The biggest being the availability of space in the median area to enable the construction of stations on both ends of some footbridges. For example, Roysambu footbridge. Here, only one side has space sufficient enough for the project. The space on the second side is too small. For the engineers, a decision has to be made, readjusting the road or construction of a mega station on one side to accommodate passengers going in the two different directions. A mega station was the ultimate answer. But the designers and engineers will meet an even bigger challenge. The construction of median stations at Survey Drive-In Footbridge. No side is big enough for the construction of a mega station. Engineers and builders have an extra job to do. Alter the position of guardrails between the highway and the service lane. By moving guardrails, another lane is created and hence enough space to construct a median station. As stations are being erected along Thika Highway, another contractor is busy putting up a park and ride station just outside the Kasarani International Stadium. Builders are constructing a platform area, bus workshop, BRT offices, and of course, the parking yard. This area is very vital for the function of the BRT system, as Simon Kimtai once told me.
Park and ride is going to decongest the city. It will remove vehicles, the number of vehicles that would have reached the city, and it will also be it will be very economical for a user, because where you park and ride, the fee would not be as much as what you'd have paid for the city, and then when you park, it will bring you straight to the city. Then you get to the office at the speed, at the time that you would require. And it would also save money, because when you are held up in traffic, it will save man hours. I mean, you will save a lot of money because of, in fuel and where you want to go, and also stress. The stress levels at traffic is so high. But when you have an express lane that will take you to your place of work, you're better off than a person who's stuck in traffic.
This area will be the parking yard. It's where motorists or cyclists planning to use BRT buses will be dropping their cars or bikes before hopping into buses. The platform will be here. After parking cars or bikes, people will be moving to the platform to hop into buses. This is the bus workshop. It is where bus maintenance and repair will be conducted.
Manguo bado mimi najipanga venye nitakuwa napiga pasi.
Joseph Wambogo is a shoe cobbler and seller. He also sells second-hand clothes, also known as mitumba.
Nilikuwa nafanyia biashara pale ndani. Wakati walianza kujenga stage ya BRT, ikabaki niko nje, nikakuja huku kando. Sababu pale ndani wanajenga parking, kuna petrol station, kuna garage, kuna nini. Naona. So ndo nikakuja hapa hii side ingine.
Wambogo says he is aligning himself so that he can be able to tap into the BRT.
Saa hii juu sina tu uwezo vile, ni kwenda tu mdogo kabla wamalize, hata mimi nitakuwa nimejipanga. Juu kwa saa hii unaona nashona viatu, nauza soda, nafanya repair. Lakini sasa ikifika huko kwingine kabla hao wamalize, hata mimi nitakuwa nishamaliza kufikiria.
A fleet of over 100 buses, each with a capacity to carry 160 passengers, will be operated on the system. Nairobi's BRT will be on 5 corridors. The corridor under construction will run from Ruiru to the Kenyatta National Hospital, passing through Moi Avenue.